What happens if you eat honey every day for 30 days? Hello, health champions. In this video, we're diving into a fascinating question. What if you eat honey every day for 30 days? Honey has been cherished for centuries, not only as a sweet treat, but also as a symbol of prosperity and health. Phrases like the land of milk and honey, or even calling a loved one honey, highlight how deeply it's ingrained in our language and culture. For thousands of years, honey was known as the food of the gods. Before the advent of refined sugar, honey was humanity's primary sweetener. Our prehistoric ancestors, tens of thousands of years ago, relied on honey as their rare source of sweetness, aside from occasional fruits. But what makes honey truly remarkable is the effort behind every drop. Honey is the first naturally processed food, crafted not by humans, but by bees. It starts with flower nectar, which bees collect and break down with special enzymes, transforming it into simple sugars. They then concentrate and evaporate the nectar, creating what we know as honey. The process is labor-intensive on a scale that's hard to imagine. To produce just 1 pound, about 454 grams of honey, bees must visit over 2 million flowers and collectively travel the equivalent of circling the earth. Even more astonishing, a single bee produces less than 1 gram of honey in its lifetime. Beyond honey itself, bees are vital for our survival. They pollinate over 130 types of fruits, vegetables, and other plants, contributing to nearly 1/3 of a human food supply. So when we call honey liquid gold, it's not just because of its taste or nutritional value. It's because of its ecological importance. However, there's a modern dilemma. While honey is often celebrated as healthy, we now understand that sugar in general is harmful when consumed in excess. So where does honey fit into this equation? Is it a health booster, or is it just another form of sugar? In this video, we will explore the real effect of eating honey daily, separating facts from myths. I'll address some of the popular claims made online about honey, and we'll look at what science really says. One of the most common claims is that eating honey before bed helps you sleep better. Some suggest that honey may spike insulin levels, leading to increased tryptophan, serotonin, and melatonin production, which could theoretically improve sleep. However, the science doesn't fully support this. Insulin spikes are generally harmful, and while a tiny, short-term effect might exist, it's not a recommended way to promote better sleep. Another claim is that honey can improve learning and reduce anxiety due to its glucose content, which provides quick energy for neurons. While this might temporarily help if you're hypoglycemic, regular blood sugar spikes caused by honey are not beneficial for long-term brain or overall health. The truth about blood sugar spikes from honey. When you eat honey or any fast-absorbing sugar, you trigger a blood sugar spike. But what goes up must come down. That rapid spike is always followed by a drop, which leads to a blood sugar roller coaster. These fluctuations are what cause mood swings, fatigue, and cravings. If you want stable energy and mood, the key is to avoid foods that spike glucose. Instead, focus on slow-digesting foods rich in fat, fiber, and protein, like meat, nuts, and vegetables. That's how you maintain steady blood sugar and feel your best. When I first heard claims that honey improves learning, relaxation, and energy, I couldn't help but think, if sugar really made kids calmer, wouldn't every parent already know this? The reality is, sugar often does the opposite. Myths about honey's nutritional power. Some online sources claim that honey can improve gut health due to prebiotics, help with weight loss because of its nutritional richness, provide a large portion of your daily nutrition. These claims sound appealing but require closer examination. While honey does contain small amount of antioxidants, minerals, and enzymes, it's still 82% sugar by weight. It cannot provide a large portion of your nutrition without also delivering high levels of sugar, which outweigh its benefits when consumed excessively. Why quick summaries can mislead. In today's fast-paced world, many people rely on quick lists or AI-generated summaries to learn. While these tools can be helpful, they can also be dangerously misleading if the information isn't fact-checked. For example, when I used AI to summarize a video about honey, it mistakenly claimed that honey can prevent botulism in infants. In reality, honey can cause botulism in infants, which can be life-threatening. A single wrong word can make a life or death difference. This is why I emphasize understanding how the body truly works, rather than relying on superficial knowledge or catchy claims. Is honey really different from sugar? Another popular claim is that honey has none of the harmful effects of regular white sugar because its sugars are different. This is not entirely true. Let's break it down. Honey is about 82% sugar, with the rest being water and trace nutrients. White sugar, being a crystallized form of sucrose, contains no water. When we look closer at honey's sugar profile, it contains glucose, fructose, sucrose, maltose, galactose. You don't need to memorize these names, but it's important to understand the basics. Glucose is the sugar in your bloodstream, which your body uses for immediate energy. Fructose is similar, but is metabolized almost entirely by the liver, much like galactose. These sugars can affect your body differently, but they are still forms of sugar. Honey versus sugar. Are they really different? When we link glucose and fructose together, we get sucrose, a two-ring structure known as a disaccharide. Honey also contains maltose, which is formed by two glucose molecules linked together. These are essentially the key sugars in honey. If you break it down, honey is primarily composed of just two simple sugars, glucose and fructose, since maltose and other minor sugars quickly convert into glucose. Now, let's compare honey to table sugar. Sucrose in honey, only about 1.1 grams per tablespoon. Sucrose in table sugar, 100% sucrose, which is by definition 50% glucose and 50% fructose when broken down. Honey, on the other hand, contains approximately 49.8% fructose, 43.6% glucose. When you account for maltose and other trace sugars, honey ends up being 54% fructose and 46% glucose, which is almost identical to sugar. This is why, when water is removed, honey is essentially 100% sugar, just like table sugar. The nutritional difference is minimal. What about honey and diabetes? Another common claim is that honey is better for people with diabetes because of its lower glycemic index. However, the glycemic index, GI, of honey is about 58, compared to 60 for table sugar, a negligible difference. The GI of honey can vary slightly depending on the flowers from which bees gather nectar, but at the end of the day, honey will raise blood sugar in almost the same way as sugar. Can eating honey every day improve gut health? Here's where honey does have some potential benefits. Honey contains fructooligosaccharides, FOS, a type of prebiotic fiber that supports healthy gut bacteria. FOS is created when multiple fructose units are linked together. While our digestive system cannot break down FOS, beneficial gut bacteria can, feeding on it and producing compounds that support gut health. FOS can range in size from just a few fructose units, which taste sweet, to long chains of 60 or more units, which have almost no sweetness. Another well-known source of FOS is inulin, which is found in foods like chicory root, onions, garlic, and rye. Honey contains a moderate amount of FOS, about 0.5 grams per tablespoon, 21 grams of honey. While this isn't a large amount, it can still contribute to gut health as part of a varied diet. Other foods, like chia seeds, contain even higher levels of different types of prebiotic fibers. But variety is key. Your gut bacteria thrive on a diverse range of fiber sources, not just one. Does honey help with weight loss? A popular belief is that eating honey every day helps you lose weight because it's full of vitamins, minerals, and healthy fats. But here's the truth. Honey contains almost no fat, certainly not enough to be considered a source of healthy fats. While honey has trace amounts of vitamins and minerals, the levels are far too low to rely on it for nutrition. If weight loss occurs when someone switches from refined sugar to honey, it's usually due to reduced overall sugar consumption, not because honey has special fat-burning properties. Does honey provide daily nutrients? Some claim that a tablespoon of honey can give you a good portion of your daily vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, and even healthy fats. To verify this, I checked a reliable source, nutritionvalue.org. Here's what I found for 1 tablespoon, 21 grams, of honey. Vitamins, almost all listed at 0% or 1% of daily value. Minerals, Calcium, iron, and others are mostly 0 to 1%, far too low to make a real impact. Fats, 0. There are no saturated, monounsaturated, or polyunsaturated fats. Nothing, even down to the third decimal place. So, what are you really getting? The truth is that honey offers almost no vitamins, minerals, or fats in meaningful amounts. What you're mainly consuming is sugar, with a small bonus of antioxidants and trace plant compounds. The real benefits of eating honey every day. This doesn't mean honey is worthless. In fact, honey is far better than refined sugar in several ways. Honey is a living product. It contains natural enzymes, antioxidants, and plant compounds, like polyphenol, unlike processed white sugar, which is nutritionally dead. Honey is naturally antibacterial. It can help soothe sore throats and is commonly used as a natural cough remedy. Many parents prefer giving children honey instead of synthetic cough syrups when used appropriately. Potential immune benefits. Some people report fewer seasonal allergies or colds after incorporating raw honey into their diet. This may be linked to polyphenol, which can positively influence gut bacteria and support immunity. However, while these benefits are promising, they are anecdotal and should not be considered a cure for any condition. Honey can be a part of a healthy lifestyle, but it is not a replacement for proper nutrition. How much honey is safe to eat every day? Studies have used up to 70 grams, over 3 tablespoons, per day before seeing noticeable effects, but this amount exceeds recommended sugar limits. The USDA suggests limiting added sugars to 50 grams per day, and even that is considered high if you are aiming for optimal health. Given that honey is 82% sugar, here's a more realistic guideline. Keep honey intake below 20 grams, about 1 tablespoon, per day. If you have insulin resistance, fatty liver, or diabetes, keep your intake even lower. Remember that honey should be counted toward your total daily sugar intake, which also includes sugar from sauces, condiments, drinks, and processed foods. It's easy to exceed 70 to 80 grams of sugar per day without realizing it, which contributes to fatty liver and metabolic issues. Honey for diabetes and weight management. Can honey fix diabetes? Not exactly. However, if you cut out all other sugars and follow a low-carb lifestyle, you may still enjoy up to 1 tablespoon of raw honey without major issues. When using honey for a sore throat or cough, smaller, topical doses are best. A simple approach. Take 1/2 teaspoon of raw honey and let it dissolve slowly in your mouth, several times per day. Avoid mixing honey into hot tea or coffee, as heat destroys many of its beneficial enzymes and antioxidants. Let your beverage cool to body temperature, around 37 degrees Celsius, 98 degrees Fahrenheit, before adding honey. Raw versus processed honey. Why it matters. Raw honey is the gold standard. Pasteurized or processed honey loses much of its natural antibacterial power, enzymes, and antioxidants. If you want the real health benefits of honey, always choose raw, unfiltered honey. Exploring alternatives to honey's sugar content. If you want to enjoy the health benefits of honey without the high sugar content, consider propolis. Bees produce 2 main substances: honey, their food reserve, and propolis, a resin-like material they use to seal and protect their hives. Propolis contains many of the same beneficial plant compounds and antioxidants as honey, but without the sugar, making it an excellent supplement for those monitoring blood sugar levels or seeking a natural boost of immunity. A word on anecdotal reports. When reading or sharing success stories about honey, remember that the people who consume raw honey regularly often follow an overall healthier lifestyle. They tend to choose whole, natural foods over processed options. Consume less sugar overall, not just by swapping sugar for honey, but by avoiding sweets in general. Stay active, get fresh air, and prioritize balanced nutrition. If you've experienced positive results from eating honey every day, share your story in the comments, but let us know about your lifestyle habits as well. This gives everyone a fuller picture of why honey may have worked for you. Final thoughts. What if you eat honey every day? Eating honey every day can be beneficial when done in moderation, about 1 tablespoon, 20 grams, per day for most healthy adults. It offers natural antioxidants, antibacterial properties, and potential gut health benefits. But remember, honey is still mostly sugar. Overconsumption can contribute to weight gain, insulin resistance, and fatty liver. Choose raw, unprocessed honey to get the most from its natural enzymes and polyphenol, and avoid heating it in boiling liquids, which can destroy these benefits. If you want added wellness without sugar, propolis supplements might be a great alternative. Call to action for HeInfo channel. If you found this deep dive on what if you eat honey every day helpful, you'll love our other health-focused videos on the HeInfo channel. Watch next. Link to a related video about natural sweeteners or gut health. Subscribe to HeInfo. Learn from science-backed insights on nutrition, wellness, and healthy living. Hit the bell and turn on notifications so you never miss a video that can help you take control of your health.